Okay, I'm going to do an example of a piecewise function down here. This one has 3 pieces. I'm going to make a black piece, a red piece, and a blue piece. So I'm making 3 tables for each one. I'll start with this one. It is a negative x, no exponent, so I know it's part of a line. I'm allowed to plug in x is less than 1. I'm actually going to cheat and plug in 1 and numbers less than 1. I'm just going to put a reminder here to myself that I really wasn't allowed to plug in a 1, so I'm going to make sure that dot is open. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. If I plug in a 0, I get 1. If I plug in a negative 1, so negative 1 times negative 1 would be positive 1, plus 1 is 2. Then I'd get a 3. Plot those points. 1, 0. 0, 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2, 3, and make sure I have an arrow. Next one I'm going to do is red. I'm going to plug in its starting point and ending. Technically, it's not allowed to be those. I'm going to cheat because there's no underline here, and just make sure I make my dot open. If I plug in a 1, I get 0. If I plug in a 2, I get 1. So 2, 1. And 1, 0. So open dot on top of an open dot. There's my second piece. My third piece here is for x is greater than or equal to 2. So I'm going to plug in a 2, and I'm allowed to because of that equal sign there. If I plug in a 2, I get 1. I'm going to also plug in a 3, and when I do, 3 squared is 9. 5 minus 9 is negative 4. So 2, 1, oh, gets colored in. 3, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my next one would probably be off my grid. If I plugged in a 4, 4 squared is 16, 5 minus 16 is negative 11. So this is an x squared, so it is part of an upside down u because my x squared is negative. And that one would have been moved 5 up, so it would have been a u that went up pretty high and then back down. Those are my 3 parts. I'm going to write a limit statement. Limit as x approaches 1. My graph is called f of x. So whether I'm coming down on the black towards the x value of 1 or the red from the right, the y value that I end up with is 0.